There's a lot of things that amateur photographers do not understand about professional photographers and the profession that we work in. And I want to tell you about the three main things that amateurs just do not get about our work life. Now, the first one is inspiration. Inspiration is for amateurs. Inspiration is for hobbyists. Inspiration is not for professionals. As a professional, I don't sit here going, I hope I get inspired today because I really need some new work. No. We come in and we do the work. There's a methodical practice to it. I have a very methodical way of working. I have my style of work. I have clients that I know would like my style of work, and we create stuff that we think they might like in the hope that they commission us. That is it. I don't sit there waiting to get inspired. Sure, I get inspired and I create work, but I can't get inspired that often. It doesn't happen. A lot of the time, I've just got to put the hours in and do the work. If I waited for inspiration, I'd probably shoot 10 images a year. And then that's not going to cut it for me. Which brings me through to the next one, which is good enough. It's good enough. It's fine. It does the job. It's good enough. It works for the budget. It's all we can do in this particular set of constraints. A lot of what we do is not the perfect image, but it's good enough. Good enough is brilliant. Good enough means it gets out the door. Good enough means that somebody sees it. We can't wait around until we've perfected it. We can't spend weeks in post making it all perfect. We don't have those luxuries. Sure, sometimes a client comes in with a huge budget and it affords us those things. But a lot of the time, we're working to budget constraints, time constraints, and good enough is what we're aiming for. We have to do the job good enough. Now, obviously, that level can be extremely high. Sometimes good enough is very, very good. But sometimes in a test shoot or some personal work, we work with what we have and we make it good enough. We don't try and have helicopters flying through the studio and smoke grenades going off. We go, what can we do that is good enough that will create a body of work? And we try and work within those confines and those constraints. And that is key to being a professional. Now, the last thing is probably the most misunderstood conception about us is that we only take photos for money. Now, I can only speak for myself as a commercial photographer who works sort of at a high end shooting big campaigns. But most of what I shoot is personal work. I shoot more personal work than commercial work. I shoot more for me than I do for them. And that is important for two reasons. First and foremost, I love photography. I love taking images. I want to take my images. And as a professional photographer, we're taking their images. We're taking the images they want us to take. It's not very often that I get creative control on a shoot. More times than often, I am told, this is what we need. Your work is very similar. We think you would be the perfect professional to do this exactly how we need it. The other reason for personal work is that personal work gets you booked. People don't want to see your last ad campaign. If anything, I shy away from having campaign work in my professional portfolio. So Tin House Studios, this thing over here is my YouTube place. If you go to scotchasino.com, that is my commercial world. That is me as a photographer. And in that world, you'll notice that most of my website is personal work. Yes, there's the odd ad campaign in there. We often remove the text, but it's only when the stars align and the ad campaign happens to be what I would have done anyway. And this is important because one, the brand names, they can put off certain clients if you think you've shot for a competitor. And two, people want to book you as a creative. They want to book you as the artist. And they need to see who you are, what you stand for, your perspective of the world, your perception of what is going on and how you aesthetically bring that together. That is what people at the high end want to see. Now, for sure, when I was working at a slightly lower level, maybe national level, I was putting in my tear sheets, my ad campaigns, because people at that level want to know that you're good enough to do it. But at the higher level, in the higher echelons of the career, they just want to see your personal work. They want to see who you are as an artist. And a lot of amateurs just don't get that. They don't understand the need for personal work because as an amateur, all you're doing is personal work. And they see the professional, they're doing paid work. It's not one or the other. The personal work feeds the professional work. And in turn, the money I get for my professional work feeds my personal work. And it's this beautiful ecosystem where we work a few times a year, get paid the money to create the work I want to create. And I couldn't be happier with that. Let me know in the comments what you think people misunderstand about being a professional photographer. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.